Hello everybody, my name is Westbury, and tonight we're going to be live streaming this zombie storyline from the Canorium. This goes to this website here. I'll have a link in the description after the live stream. The credits for this awesome page goes to the people on the screen now. So let's begin reading from the entire storyline from the very beginning to the very end. Shit. I clicked the wrong thing. So, let's click it. So, in the beginning, there was only the Ether and the Keepers. Among them were two beings. Give me a second, sorry about that. In the beginning, there was only the Ether and the Keepers. Among them were two beings who would later be known by many names. One would be known as Dr. Monty, the other as the Shadow Man. September 3rd, 5 AD. Knowing the planet has a gateway to Agartha, the Apothicans send meters of element 115 to Earth. They believe humanity will, one day use element 115 to wage war amongst themselves, opening a rift that will allow the Apothicans to escape the Dark Ether. January 15, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicans begin. April 14th, 1294. Hold on, this music's a bit loud. Let me just bring it down a bit. There we go. April 14th, 1294. Sir Pablo Marinus is saved from the clutches of Alan Margua by the four unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. Ooh. December 31st, 1299. Together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicans, bringing the Great War to an end. January 1st, 1300. Before they seemingly disappear from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building the Rising Draka. September 19th, 1318. Honouring the Wolf King's dying request, his loyal servant Arthur scatters and buries his bones in the grounds of the Rising Draka, accompanied by the King's Wolf. September 20th, 1318. Temporal Rift teleports Arthur to Resolution 1295 in 2025 Angolia. If you don't realise, Arthur is actually Leroy from Buried, which is fucking cool. June 30th, 1908, a meteor containing element 115 crashes near the Stony Tunguska River. Weird because I'm leaning back and obviously there's writings fucking quite close together. August 30th, 1925. Dr. Edward Richtofen joins the Illuminati. So, by the way, this is Richtofen. We'll call it Richtofen 1. This is Richtofen 1 that we've begun to play as in World at War. February 4th, 1951. Large deposits of element 115 are discovered near Berusla, Germany. Dr. Ludwig Maxis 1, Evil Maxis, a German scientist, is sent to investigate. May 10th, 1951. Maxis forms Group 935, an experimental organisation dedicated to the study of element 115. Maxis tells his scientists that they represent the future of technological advancement and will be pioneers of human discovery. The group swears to work in secrecy from their respective governments. As Maxis says, we cannot afford to let this power fall into the wrong hands. November 5th, 1934. Samantha Maxis is born. Her mother dies in childbirth. August 11th, 1936. Maxis invites Richtofen to join Group 935. He agrees, secretly acting on behalf of the Illuminati's interests. April 10th, 1937. The Imperial Japanese Army discovers an element 115 meter fragment in a swamp within Japanese territories. They build the Rising Sun facility to continue research. Division 9 is created to oversee its operation. June 14th, 1957. United States government discovers deposits of element 115 at Groom Lake, Nevada. July 2nd, 1939. Maxis and Richtofen begin teleporting experiments with the matter transference prototype to mild success. The subjects are teleported, but their chemical composition is altered, leaving them catatonic and changed. August 5th, 1939. Using element 115, Maxis and Richtofen resurrect one of the teleported corpses from the first time. Initially it bays, but soon becomes rabid and attacks them. The test subject is euthanized. September 3rd, 1939. Richtofen begins development of the Wunderwaffe DJ-2. November 23rd, 1939. Maxis turns to Reichstag for additional fundraising. Germany agrees to the request, expressing interest in their weapons research, teleportation technology, and the reanimated undead subjects. December 4th, 1939. During Test Trial 151, Richtofen and Dr. Schuster successfully teleport a walnut. This is his first successful test where the chemical composition of the object is maintained throughout the process. December 5th, 1939. Edward's walnut delivery fails to impress Maxis, who declares it was a waste of time. He reveals to Richtofen that Group 935 will soon be refunded by Germany. Richtofen worries this will lead to massive defections. He and Schuster decide to continue their teleportation experiments behind Max's back. January 4th, 1940. Richtofen and Schuster conduct their first human teleportation test. Richtofen is so confident in its success he volunteers the MPD, the ether pyramid hidden by the Apothicans, while inspecting the device. Richtofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man. The device then teleports him to Shangri-La, corrupted by the Dark Ether. Richtofen is gradually being driven insane by an obsession. Find Garfa. January 5th, 1940. Richtofen is worshipped by the natives of Shangri-La. An altar is built in his name. Richtofen encounters the focusing stone for the first time. January 24th, 1940. After a near month absence, Richtofen returns to Schuster with a plan to build Griffin Station. January 24th, 1940. Richtofen renounces his involvement with the Illuminati when asked how he could abandon his obligation to the order. He says Terry was a liar. March 13th, 1940. Construction of Griffin Station on the Moon begins. Frustrated with Max's alignment with Germany, other disgruntled Group 935 scientists join the cause. July 13th, 1940. Maxis instructs his assistant Sophia to write a letter to Reichstag High Command requesting additional funds. He reports that the mass production will soon be underway. Shortly, the Reese lacks not only the funding but sufficient volumes of element 115. Oh. Give me a second, I need to fix my mic. Where's that stand? So I can raise my hand. And also puff something. August 1st, 1940. In response to Max's request, Germany creates two facilities for Group 935. They are the Kino facility, a repurposed theatre, and the Asylum facility at the Western Sanatorium in Berlin. That's Kino Torten and Rupt. August 18th, 1940. As per Germany's request, the Japanese Imperial Army hands over the Rising Sun facility to the group. 935 Division 9 remains involved on the site. October 3rd, 1940. Group 935 establishes a research facility in Siberia near the Tunguska River. November 6, 1940. Group 935 establishes a research facility at the Rising Draka. June 24, 1941, Nikolai Belinsky's wife is killed during the German advance into the Soviet Union. In an effort to numb the pain, Nikolai increasingly turns to vodka. Okay. January 11th, 1942. Max gives Fluffy to Samantha. The dog is expecting a litter. Oh. Oh shit. January 20th, 1942. Maxis tests the first file for storage on the data server. January 26, 1942. On data server, Maxis catalogs locations with prominent element 115 deposits. He includes the information about its various applications in cities, that the reanimation of dead cells is a possible side effect. January 30th, 1942. Richtofen completes the Wunderwaffle DG2 prototype. Well, that's pretty good. February 1st, 1942. With Griffin Station completed, Richtofen names Dr. Gurov lead scientist and returns to Earth to continue the charade with Maxis. Working alongside Schuster, Gurov is left to discover the power of the MPD. February 2nd, 1942. In a speech to his staff, Gurov talks optimistically about Griffin Station's establishment as a permanent base of operations. April 17th, 1942. Maxis develops a ray gun prototype at the Rising Sun facility. H. Porter works on developing the second generation model. June 13th, 1942. As a result of the temporal rifts in 1963, Kino Monty reaches out across time and offers a little nudges. One nudge is developing Group 935's element 115 fused elixirs. They create for medical beverages known colloquially as Juggernog, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, and Double Tap. June 28, 1942, Group 935 continues development of a weapons upgrade machine. Pack punch, basically. July 18, 1942, Groff and Schuster unwittingly discover how to charge the MPD. When Schuster kills a rat near the device, its death unexpectedly begins filling the tank charging the device. They report their findings to Richtofen. July 20th, 1942. Richtofen begins sending soldiers and scientists to the moon to be sacrificed. Their souls are used to charge the MPD. November 5th, 1942. Takeo Makisaki is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Group 935 and Division 9 at the Rising Sun facility. December 8th, 1942. Richtofen shares the element 115 based elixir recipes with Griffin Station. They develop Mule Kick. That makes perfect sense. December 9th, 1942. Nikolai's brother is killed in the Battle of Stalingrad. Holy fuck. December 14th, 1942. Richtofen creates the monkey bomb. We all knew Richtofen created that shit. Mad. December 16th, 1942. In a personal log, Maxis expresses concern over element 115's impact on Richtofen's behaviour. No longer trusting him, he wonders if it was a mistake to invite him to Group 935. December 20th, 1942. Accompanied by Sophia, Maxis is transferred to the Kino facility to focus on creating Germany's undead army. Samantha is left in Richtofen's care. January 8th, 1943. Maxis worries he and Sophia have grown too close. He considers sending her away. January 16th, 1943. Nikolai is captured by the German forces during the Battle of Stalingrad. He becomes a subject in Group 935 experiments. January 27th, 1943. Maxis reports success with Subject 26, whose violent outbursts have been greatly reduced. Maxis believes this method of treatment will be 100% effective in most cases. February 2nd, 1943. The Battle Stalingrad ends. February 10th, 1943. Maxis reports the treatment has been perfected. He believes in Subject 26 can retain the impressions longer than 26 hours. Then the delivery of the zombies army can be accelerated. February 12th, 1943. After attacking a handler, Subject 26 is killed and deemed another setback. May 18th, 1943. Harvey Jena begins his work with Group 935. June 4th, 1943. Primus arrives from Dimension 63 in an effort to prevent the events that are about to unfold. They formulate a plan to stop this dimension's Richtofen. So this is Group 2, Origins Group, right? They've came through the Origins. Yeah. June 11, 1943. Richtofen is contacted from the house by Maxis, who warns that the test subjects must never be allowed to be awakened. The havoc that could be awakened upon the future by such a simple-minded individuals would be catastrophic. June 15, 1943. Taki reports to the Emperor that the work being done at the Rising Sun facility is unacceptable. June 19, 1943. Primus Richtofen is teleported to the house in Agartha, reuniting him with Maxis. Okay, I think that's Maxis 2, which is says Maxis 2 for now. June 24th, 1943. On the orders of the Emperor, Taki was taken prisoner by Group 935 in Division 9. He was used as a test subject for their experiments. July 14, 1944. After the setbacks with Subject 26, Maxis reports no success with the undead army. However, he maintains his belief that the undead cannot be controlled or maintained. September 2nd, 1944. Pablo Manes, a Mexican spy, is captured by Group 935 at the Rising Draca. May 9th, 1945. In his cell, Pablo writes a vision of a great war. He describes a great battle against strange demon-like creatures who were trying to devour the earth. In his vision, he sees 4 knights protect him from certain death. He makes a note that the knights were tonics similar to those in the Rising Draca. June 4th, 1945. Nack der Toten. An Allied plane malfunctions over an airfield and crashes. German army trucks transporting the undead and Element 115 between Group 935 facilities is struck in the crash. Stuck in. Oh my god. The Marines surviving the crash hold against the undead as long as they can. June 17th, 1945. Peter McCain infiltrates Group 935 at the Reese. June 29th, 1945. Groff and Schuster developed the wave gun. July 15th, 1945. Richtofen travels to the Siberia facility to do further research on the live specimens. As her temporary guardian, he takes Samantha with him. Group 935 begins transferring 3 test subjects for experimentation: Nikolai, Pablo, and Takio. July 29th, 1945. Where Richtofen works at the Siberian facility, Group 935 begins development of Deadshot Daiquiri. August 1st, 1945. The test subjects arrive at the Siberian facility for Richtofen's experiments. August 31st, 1945. CIA handler Cornelius Perel confirms that Peter McCain has successfully infiltrated Group 935 and has been transferred to the asylum facility. Cornelius suspects that 935 is losing control of their experiments and has sent in a Marine recon unit to extract McCain. Tank Dempsey is the lead to the squad. Peter is outed as a spy. September 1st, 1945. Peter is outed as a spy and captured by Group 935. September 2nd, 1945. Richtofen reports Pablo has died following a spleen removal. He also reveals he's been performing experiments on Samantha. World War II ends. Group 935 continues their research. Temporal risks begin to affect the asylum facility, and ideally reports increasing problems with test subjects. September 2nd, 1945. Many in the facility have begun hearing voices coming from the walls, including the sobbing of a boy, a girl screaming, and a man shouting for children to close the windows. Origins cutscene. September 3rd, 1945. An outbreak occurs at the asylum facility. Peter McCain escapes. September 6, 1945. Verrückt. Dempsey, John Banana, smoking a 4th Marine, arrive at the asylum facility to find it overrun by zombies. They fight off the horror as long as they can. Dempsey is apprehended by Group 935. September 7th, 1945. John Banana writes a message and records his last words while being eaten alive by the undead Smokey. Jesus Christ. September 10th, 1945. Richtofen reports another spy has been captured and will be brought in to replace the Mexican. The subject is Dempsey.
September 13th, 1945. Cornelius Pennell attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the Rising Sun facility. September 17th, 1945. Dempsey arrives at the Serpentine facility. September 20th, 1945. Richthofen documents the personality traits of his test subjects. Dempsey's intellect seems low, but his will is strong. Takeo is still staring at the floor, muttering what sounds like some kind of proverb over and over again. Nikolai has recently begun responding to stimuli, but only after injections of a new serum made primarily from vodka. Richthofen notes that their minds have been almost entirely broken, with no memory remaining who they once were. September 27th, 1945. Richthofen returns to the Reese with Dempsey, Nikolai, Takeo and Samantha. October 1st, 1945. Maxis reports on Richthofen's findings with his live test subjects, noting that while their baseline physique remains intact, all specific memories have been lost. October 1st, 1945. Enraged to learn that Maxis has not been mass-producing the DG2, as he swore that he would, Richthofen reveals his plot to destroy Maxis and Samantha, then that he will no longer continue to work his undead army. October 8th, 1945. Groff reports to Richthofen the MPD is nearly ready. October 12th, 1945. Groff radios to Richthofen to inform him that the device has been powered up and is waiting at the conduit. Richthofen says he will proceed with Operation Shield and dispose of Maxis and Samantha. October 13th, 1945. Though frustrated that the matter transference test had been largely unsuccessful, Maxis acknowledges that the test subject's departure from their original point of origin is undeniable. However, Richthofen suggesting that the subjects have been transported not through space, but time itself, causes Maxis to worry if his rationality may soon prove a liability to our endeavours. Oh, pardon me. Wait a second. October 13th, 1945. Maxis and Richthofen performed teleportation test trials on test subjects number 3, 4 and 5. All fail, including test 5, where Maxis uses Fluffy as test 6 chamber. Samantha sees Fluffy and runs into the teleporter. Maxis chases after her. Richthofen seals them both in the test chamber and teleports all 3 of them away. October 13th, 1945. Samantha is teleported to the moon while Groff and Shuster work on the MPD. Running into the MPD, she is drawn inside of it, where she becomes corrupted by the Dark Ether. Maxis is teleported to the crazy place and develops the power to merge with electricity. Richthofen returns to the moon and learning Samantha is trapped in the MPD, he orders Groff to teleport Maxis there to coax her out of the device. He also warns Groff to keep an eye out for an evil looking dog. Richthofen returns to the moon, learning Samantha is trapped in the MPD. He orders Groff to teleport Maxis there. Oh, they just copied it by mistake. Shit. October 13th, 1945. In an effort to free Samantha, Maxis approaches the MPD and persuades her to come out. Once she does, Maxis gives her an instruction: kill them all. Maxis kills himself and merges with the technology of Griffith Station, while Samantha unleashes the undead upon the base. October 14th, 1945. H. Porter activates the alarm as an outbreak occurs at the Reese. Before taking a cyanide capsule, he says he's all out of hope. God forgive us all. October 14th, 1945. Richthofen returns to the Reese and awakens Dempsey, Takeo and Nikolai. With no recollection of who they are or who Richthofen is, they agree to help him. The 4 would become known as Optimus. October 18th, 1945. Peter McCain parachutes over the Rising Sun facility. He dies shortly after. October 21st, 1945. Shinuma. Optimus travels to the Rising Sun facility to recover Richthofen's diary. Upon reading it, Richthofen begins to form his plan to defeat Samantha. October 20th, 1945. The Reese. Optimus returns to the Reese with his diary. Richthofen plans to use the teleporter to return to the moon and confront Samantha. Unfortunately, the Wunderwaffe DG2 overloads the teleporter and sends him through time, causing Richthofen to drop his diary. November 5th, 1945. Group 935 is disbanded. January 1946, the United States and the Soviet Union share the resources recovered from Group 935's various research stations. Richthofen's diary is among the items recovered by the Soviet Union. January 27, 1946. The Pentagon hires many former Group 935 scientists in an effort to replicate their work. January 29, 1946. As with their US counterparts, the Soviets hire many former Group 935 scientists. Among them is Harvey Jena, who forms the Ascension Group. July 29, 1952. The Pentagon begins experiments involving their own versions of the undead. May 12, 1955, the US government transfers a number of Element 115 experiments to the Groom Lake facility. October 19, 1955, Gersh and Yuri Saskovsky begin working for the Ascension Group. You know who Gersh is. April 25, 1956, explorers Brock and Gary discover Shangri-La. During an eclipse, they're unwittingly trapped in a time loop. Sally, sent back in time from 2011, is trapped in the same loop. Optimus arrives in Shangri-La with the help of Brock and Gary. They acquire the focusing stone. June 3rd, 1959. The Pentagon constructs their own prototype teleporter and commence experimentation. March 15, 1962. Studying Group 935's medical elixir, research the Ascension Group develops. PhD Flopper, Stamina Up. Please return, PhD, please. November 11, 1962. Gersh begins work on Project Thundergun. December 12, 1962. Gersh and Yuri begin work on the Gersh device, codenamed Project Mercury. June 15, 1963. The Pentagon begins development on their own version of the Wunderwaffe DG2. August 17, 1963. The Pentagon begins development on their own versions of the Winter's Howl. Shite. Well, Winter's Howl, the first one, was shit. October 28, 1963. Kino to Torton. From the race Optimus teleports to Kino, this marks the first time Optimus travels across space and time. Temporal rifts occur across dimensions in the light of these developments. Monty feels obligated to step in and begins to make changes in the background across time. He helps Group 935 invent perk machines. He adds shock joints to the walls. Little nudges. Optimus locates a lunar lander and fly to the Ascension facility. October 29, 1963. Gersh informs the senior staff that Yuri has been removed from the Project Mercury and has been transferred to the rocket research. October 29, 1963. Yuri begins to notice the appearance of children's toys around the facility. November 1st, 1963. Upon reading Richthofen's diary, Yuri begins to hear Samantha's voice. Over several days, her voice will concern him, driving him to resume work on the Gersh device. He obeys. November 4th, 1963. Gersh announces to the committee that the Project Thunder is nearing completion. Gersh reveals Yuri may need to be removed from Ascension entirely, having observed his being hostile towards other scientists and frequently observed muttering to himself. November 5th, 1963. Obeying Samantha's wishes, Yuri tricks Gersh into activating the Gersh device. The Rift created observes him and allows Samantha to travel through Yuri. Yuri is also absorbed and transported to the Pentagon. November 6, 1963. Ascension. Optimus arrives at the Soviet Cosmodrome and frees Gersh from the Casimir mechanism. Richthofen recovers his diary and learns that they need the viral device from the Siberian facility for his plan. Maintaining his Afro form, Gersh sends them into a rift to their next destination, before beginning his travel across space and time. November 6, 1963. 5. In the Pentagon, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Robert McNamara meet with the Fidel Castro in the aftermath of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Due to the events at the Cosmodrome, a zombie outbreak occurs. Samantha sends Yuri to the Pentagon to thwart their survival. So Yuri's the Pentagon thief. After Gersh is freed and Optimus departs from the Cosmodrome, the outbreak ends at the Pentagon. All four survive. That's good. November 19th, 1963. In an effort to avoid another undead outbreak, the US government creates the Broken Arrow. We know who's in Broken Arrow. program, establishing several facilities across the country. The Groom Lake program is folded into Broken Arrow. August 11th, 1973. Broken Arrow recovers a shard of Element 115 from Division 9. September 19th, 1979. Russman begins work at Broken Arrow. Over the course of his employment, his extensive exposure to the Element 115 leads to significant memory loss. April 20th, 1983, Broken Arrow begins live animal experiments with the shard, creating BIOS. June 24th, 1986, a containment breach involving the BIOS occur at one of the Broken Arrow facilities. Russman is one of the few to escape alive. The facility is shut down and abandoned. Its projects are transferred to the other locations. June 24th, 1996. Victus arrives at the abandoned Broken Arrow facility, still being pursued by the undead. Undead Richtofen, they recover. By undead Richtofen, they recover the Element 115 shard and depart for another rift. Victus is basically a transit team. March 17, 2011, Call of the Dead. After entering the rift, Optimus arrives at the Siberian facility in 2011, where they find themselves trapped in a closet while George A. Romero films his latest project at the location. Samantha and her pursuit of Optimus unleashes an undead outbreak. The film's stars fight the undead horde, ultimately recovering the viral device for Richtofen. Optimus teleports to Shangri-La in an effort to acquire the next artifact required to defeat Samantha, the focus and stuff. April 11th, 2011. Following the disappearance of the Call of the Dead cast crew, Romero's assistant Sally begins a search for her boss. Her journey leads to Shangri-La during an eclipse, which sends her back in time to April 25th, 1956. Okay. April 10th, 2023. Broken Arrow creates the Denizens. July 8th, 2025. Broken Arrow accidentally creates the Avogadro. September 1st, 2025. In a desperate need of more Element 115, Broken Arrow uses an excavator to drill near the nuclear testing facility known as Nuketown. October 13th, 2025. Moon. Using the viral device and the focusing stone, Richtofen completes his grand scheme and shows bodies of Samantha on the moon, giving him full control of the zombies and the ether. Max has contacts the remaining members of the Optimus through the station's electronics and asks them for help to defeat Richtofen. They agree. They launch missiles at Earth, leaving it fractured and broken. They sever Richtofen's connection with the ether, but he maintains control over the zombies. Once Maxis controls the ether in 2055, he returns to the moon and plucks Samantha from Richtofen's body, drilling him in Agartha. October 15th, 2025. Nuketown zombies. A nuclear bomb explodes outside of Nuketown as a result of Broken Arrow's drilling. CIA and CDC operatives arrive to find an undead outbreak already in progress. One of the missiles from the moon hits Nuketown, killing all on sight except for Martin Johnson, who survives by hiding in a nuclear bunker. October 13th, 2025. The Earth fracturing triggers further temporal rifts, teleporting an 1800s American western town buried underneath a mining facility in Angola. Arthur is pulled through the rift from 1318, arriving in the now buried town. So, fucking wow. November 5th, 2025. Broken Arrow is disbanded after the primary facility is lost in fire. It's later believed an act of arson committed by employees, destroying evidence and implicating them in the outbreak. Russman has his mind broken after over 40 years of exposure to Element 105, begins to wander the Earth. March 18th, 2027. In a stress call, former CDC Assistant Director George Barclay reveals that the infection's contaminants have gone airborne. He advises caution regarding any allies showing signs of short-term memory loss, psychosis, delusion, and paranoia. March 27th, 2027. Society of survivors who eat the undead is formed. They are the flesh. Alright, sorry about that. Now you go find that page again. Some people don't listen to you when you say you're doing something, they don't listen. So, sorry about that. We're 2025. Yeah, I hate doing that. But I can't. I mean, I was click. Status of survivors who eat the flesh that were here. May 12th, 2027. Samuel J. Sterlinger joins the flesh. June 18th, 2027. For the consumption of the undead meat, the flesh begins hearing Richtofen's voice. He tries to persuade them to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan, to mend the rift in space and time and acquire full control over the ether. June 28th, 2027. Maxis begins communicating to the survivors on Earth, telling those willing to listen to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan to open a Garfer and reunite him with Samantha, even though it will result in the destruction of the Earth. April 4th, 2028, the Flash broadcast their message across all frequencies. They tell others to heed our call, and the path to enlightenment can be achieved by consuming the undead. December 9th, 2028. Max's followers begin construction of a spire near the Hanford site facility. January 3rd, 2029, Max's followers begin to doubt him, believing he may in fact be evil. They destroy the electronics. March 2nd, 2029, Max's followers attempt to speak to him again. Many have begun to hear Richtofen, and those loyal to Maxis eagerly await further instructions. August 15th, 2029. A broadcast is sent out confirming the fall of the Flesh and Max's followers. With each group hearing the voice of Richtofen or Maxis, a battle broke out between them as they fought. A zombie horde moved and destroyed all who remained. Sterlinger is one of the few to escape. Richtofen and Maxis are left with no one to communicate near Green Run, where the first polarization device must be constructed. October 15th, 2035. Sterlinger bumps into Rushman, who has stolen a bus from an abandoned Broken Arrow facility. October 20th, 2035. Transit. Well, Sterlinger and Rushman run into Martin and Abigail Misty Barrington at the diner near the Hanford site facility. Max is asked him to complete the polarization device in his favour. Sterlinger, having consumed zombie meat, is contacted by Richtofen, who orders Sterlinger to construct the device. The device for him instead. The crew constructs the device for Maxis. The four would become known as Victus. October 22nd, 2035, diaries. Still hoping to regain control, Richtofen teleports Victus to Proponents 22, where he demands that Sterlinger activate the second polarization device. Once again, the crew sides with Maxis. The voices cease for some time, leaving Victus to wander the Earth. December 31st, 2035, buried. Victus arrives at an old western town now located beneath a mining facility in Golia. They discover Arthur in a jail cell. He assists them on their journey. The voices of Maxis and Richtofen return. They activate the final polarization device in Maxis' favour. Now corrupted by the Dark Ether, he reveals his true intention to Victus and punishes Richtofen by trapping his soul in a zombie. Drawn into Agartha by her father, Samantha witnesses the evil that has corrupted him. When a rift opens in Dimension 63 in 1918, she reaches out to the timeline's Maxis for help. So she's reaching out to Maxis from Origins Dimension. The Origins Maxis, Maxis 2. Maxis 2.0, the good Maxis. January 10th, 2076. Richtofen instructs undead Richtofen to pursue Victus and recover their blood vials. Oh, right, I get it. So in the comics, you'll see that dead Richthofen, that Richthofen is instructing his dead self to get their blood vials. No wait, no. But that confused me. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. Okay, let's stay. During 1926, Primus Richthofen begins to manipulate Struinger, opening a rift for Victus to begin their journey. Persuaded by undead Richthofen and an army of the undead, Victus enters the rift. January 19th, 2026. Maxis destroys Earth and all its surviving inhabitants. Dimension 63. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apophicans begin. April 14th, 1294. Sir Pablo Marius is saved from the clutches of Amargua by the four unknown heroes that later become known as Primus, together with the keeper. Wait, hold on a second. This is this is Dimension 63 storyline, right? So obviously, I'm pretty sure some of this may be different from this. I'm not too sure. I'll read it, and if it's the exact same, I'll skip ahead of it and see what's happened. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apophicans began. April 14th, 1294. Sir Pablo Marius is saved from the clutches of Amargua by the four unknown heroes who would later become known as Primus. December 31st, 1299. Together with the keepers, Primus defeats the Apophican, bringing the Great War to an end. January 1st, 1300. Before they suddenly disappear from history, Primus instructs their Wolfkin to begin building the Rising Draka. February 18th, 1300. Pablo begins documenting the Great War, including all he has learned with the keepers, Apophicans, and Element 115. Regarding Element 115's power, he notes that the site in northern France contains massive deposits of the element. That's definite. During 1300, in northern France, a tomb is constructed to honour the fallen soldiers of the Great War. Within it, statues of Primus are constructed to symbolise the hope that if one day a great evil falls upon mankind, they may return. July 17th, 1898. Edward Richthofen's parents die. So this is Richthofen, it's good. His parents die. February 20th, 1905. Takeo Makisaki fights the Battle of Mukden. August 11th, 1806. Richthofen begins his studies at Heidelberg University under the tutelage of Dr. Ludwig Maxis. Having lost his parents, Richthofen comes to view him as a father figure. July 3rd, 1912. Richthofen and Maxis join Group 395. June 14th, 1914. Richthofen is visited by another version of himself. Handing him some blood vials, he explains, "You will need this blood when the time comes. It will protect you before stepping back through the rift." So this is a future version of this Richthofen coming back to give him the blood vials, which is from Mob of the Dead, which is completely insane. God damn. January 5th, 1915. Maxis invents the Mauser prototype. The Mauser. Yes. August 28th, 1916. The Journal of Sir Pablo Marius, Knights of the Great War, is discovered by Group 935. March 23rd, 1917. Using information gathered from Pablo's journey, Group 935 begins work at a dig site in northern France, where they discover a series of underground tombs. April 21st, 1917. Group 935 discover what appears to be the entrance to the tomb's main chamber. They struggle to gain access. May 11th, 1917. Unable to access the chamber, soldiers listen to a gramophone to elevate their frustration when listening to a recording of La Source Noire. The entrance to the main chamber unexpectedly opens. The camp's exposure to Element 105 begins. May 21st, 1917. Using information from Pablo's journal and the tomb's main chamber, Maxis draws schematics for the creation of 4 elemental staffs and instructs Richthofen to begin their construction. May 29th, 1917. The more Maxis reads of the Great War, the more he begins to question his understanding of the scientific world and the true nature of the universe. itself, he finds himself to open the possibility of a higher power. June 11, 1917, as Group 95 experiments with Element 115, they successfully create localized energy fields, which appear to function as portals, nothing that objects can pass through them. Maxis speculates that the rifts may have opened gateways across space and time. The rifts allow Samantha to reach out to Maxis from Agartha. She begs for his help and ultimately reveals she is his daughter. June 15, 1917. An ancient box, the power of manifest weapons from different eras arise for Apollo. Maxis feels that Element 115 is disrupting the space and time continuum. July 1st, 1917. Following the installation of Element 115, power generators report surface regarding ancient figures emerging from the dig site, corresponding with the mysterious deaths of a number of Group 935 soldiers. The ancient figures are undead knights within the Great War. August 3rd, 1917. Nikolai Belinsky is sent into exile. Okay. This is when Nikolai Belinsky was sent into exile. I think, if I'm right, he was the version that was feared. If he was feared, I'm pretty sure. I'm not too sure. We'll read. Yes, we'll read. September 10th, 1917. Using Element 115, Group 935 constructs Freya, Odin and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory for the Central Powers. September 22nd, 1917. Richtofen notes that in spite Group 935 progress at the dig site, he is troubled by Max's growing obsession with Pablo's diary. October 6, 1917. Takeo Makasaki is dispatched to France by the Emperor to gather intel on Group 935's weapon technology. November 19, 1917. Following reports of reported armoured weaponry, strange lights in the sky, a mysterious plague, and even giant metal men, Tank Dempsey is deployed in northern France to assess the extent of Group 935's capabilities. December 10th, 1917. Already exiled in Europe, Nikolai receives new orders from the Imperial Russian Army to investigate the enemy war machine. Still loyal to the motherland, he willingly obliges. February 24, 1918. Nikolai writes of the ongoing civil war in his homeland. He did not expect peace to last long, but he is enjoying his time in France. March 2nd, 1918. Learning that the Emperor wishes to meet him to discuss a matter of great importance to our nation, Takeo writes that he feels a growing sense of dread in the wake of his recent dark, twisted dreams. April 14th, 1918. Despite ongoing battles, Dempsey fares well in northern France. In a personal letter, he reveals that both the Japanese and Russian armies have also sent spies to investigate the activities of Group 935. May 1st, 1918. Max is obsessed with the voice of Samantha, who now speaks to him constantly. He believes her to be the key to everything. May 12, 1918. Believing that his mentor has been affected by Element 115, like other at the dig site, Richtofen reports Max's erratic behaviour to Group 935's senior staff. May 13, 1918. Richtofen learns from Pablo's journal that the northern France dig site may be the single largest deposit of Element 115 on Earth. He believes this explains why it's infected so many at the site. May 14, 1918. Now completely consumed by Samantha's voice, Max swears he will no longer serve Group 935's mission. June 14, 1918. Origins. See, this is what happens in Origins now. It's the Origins Easter egg, basically. Element 115 awakens the undead knights from the Great War and quickly consumes the camp. Max is rendered catatonic by the Element 115. Richtofen removes his brain before he turns. Dempsey, Nikolai and Takeo unite with Richtofen on the battlefield and help free Samantha from her imprisonment in Agartha. Primus has been reunited. Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. Max's brains arrives in Agartha and Dr. Monty decides to step in. Monty brings Max's brain to the house and wipes Max's corrupted by the Dark Ether from existence. Mob of the Dead. This is Mob of the Dead storyline now. July 18th, 1922. Salvatore Sal, DeLuca opens gambling houses across Chicago. This marks the beginning of the DeLuca crime family. February 17th, 1923. Billy Handsome joins the DeLuca crime family. As a hitman, Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had. September 18th, 1923. An expert in gambling and rigging supporting events, Michael Fenelidi begins working for Sal. March 23rd, 1924. Finn marries Angela Bow and Spanish starlet with delusions of grandeur. March 1st, 1929. Sal writes of his frustration with Chicago's finest after many years of successful bribes with the city. It becomes clear that it's no longer an option. May 11th, 1930. Sal begins to work with Al Arnting, an associate in Los Angeles known for being a master schemer and a bank robber. October 14th, 1930. Finn informs his lawyer he will not accept divorce from Angela, saying she can leave this marriage the day she leaves this earth. October 11th, 1931. After an LA heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. October 28th, 1931. While in the hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars for publication as a comic strip. It is his third attempt. It is denied again. November 11th, 1931. Angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal kills a prostitute. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. December 1st, 1931. In an operation against the local crime family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. December 19th, 1931. In an operation against the Luca crime family, Finn is arrested by Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. January 19th, 1932. Al is arrested for his role in the LA heist. May 14th, 1932. Sal is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. May 16th, 1932. Billy is found guilty of 116 counts of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. Fuck. In Hellman, May 30th, 1932. Finn is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. June 13th, 1932. Sal and Billy arrive at Alcatraz Island. June 30th, 1932. Finn arrives at Alcatraz. July 1st, 1932. Al is found guilty of grand larceny, grand theft, auto arson, grand theft auto, arson conspiracy, and the battery. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. August 3rd, 1922. Al arrives at Alcatraz Island. So that's all four of them now at Alcatraz. January 1st, 1933. Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz. So Stanley Ferguson is the guard you see at the beginning of the Moby Dead cutscene. And by the way, he never actually died. He died in the cutscene, but he didn't die in real life. Yeah, weird, I know. April 1st, 1933. Al convinces Sal, Finn and Billy that they can build a plane to escape Alcatraz. December 2nd, 1933. Realizing the plane will never be completed and embittered with rage, Sal, Finn and Billy plot to get revenge now. December 31st, 1933. Finn, Sal and Billy lure Al to the roof and kill him. January 11th, 1934. Seven through a rift, Richtofen secures the blood samples of Sal and Finn. January 19th, 1934. Found guilty of Al's murder, Sal, Finn and Billy are executed by electric chair. Mob of the Dead. Sal, Finn and Billy and Al battle ways on dead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. April 16th, 1940. Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63, where he contacted members of Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory facility beneath Alcatraz. What? April 18th, 1940. Richtofen meets with Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz Island laboratory. July 4th, 1941. Stanley Ferguson reports that the laboratory has been completed and that the subjects will be placed in the status chambers upon arrival. July 4th, 1941. Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz, where we meet Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Canonium. Upon reading the Canonium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and lands with the blood vials. He would later write on the page, "I know what I must do, ER 4/7/41. Richtofen enters a rift to acquire the blood of Cell and Finn after delivering the blood to his younger self and recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus. He returns Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. July 4th, 1941. Primus arrives to collect the vials, the Victus blood samples from Richtofen. Following Primus' departure, Richtofen learns the location of the Sunling Key and travels to his next destination. Stanley Ferguson leaves October 1st, 1942. Stanley Ferguson leaves employment at Alcatraz. October 21st, 1943. Posing as Mr. Rapt, the Shadow Man hires the reporter to recover artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. December 14th, 1943. The reporter recovers the artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. Among them is the Sunling Key. December 25th, 1943. As per Mr. Rapt's request, the reporter speaks to Stanley Ferguson as a retired guard from Alcatraz. Stanley gives a detailed account of the deaths of Al Arlington, Bill Hansel, Finn O'Leary, and Sal DeLuca. So in the moment of the dead Easter egg, when you hear those tapes, those report tapes, that's actually Stanley Ferguson talking to the reporter. How fucking crazy is that? Jesus. December 31st, 1943. At Mr. Rapt's request, the reporter arrives in Morgue City to take in the sights, sounds, and smells. Oh. I can't have that now. Shit. January 15th, 1943. A meteor shower begins. The meteor shower rains over Morgue City. January 30th, 1944. A year later, what? The reporter notes strange mold now growing all over the city. He also notes people are getting sick and acting delirious. February 13th, 1944. A fruit vendor tells the reporter about the ancient order of the Keepers and how they're the only ones holding back the forces of the apocalypse. He talks to the people hearing chanting from beneath the city. March 30th, 1944. The reporter sends Mr. Rapp a telegram providing details and contact information for Nero, Jessica, Rose, Floyd Campbell, and Jack Vincent. Or Jessica Rose, Floyd Campbell, and Jack Vincent. So this basically Shadow of Your characters. April 5th, 1944. Aware of the Shadowman's actions, Monty writes to the reporter warning him to not give the Sunling Key to anyone. April 10th, 1944. Jessica Rose learns a photographer is in possession of the compromised pictures of her. April 20th, 1944. Pretending to be a company executive, the Shadowman tells Nero's lawyer that Nero's wife has taken out substantial loans in his name. Nero has 15 days to settle before the company seeks reparation, facing multiple debts due to his wife's spending habits. Nero decided to kill his wife and get life insurance to pay off the debt. Masquerading as an internal affairs officer, the Shadow Man tried to convince Jack Vincent's partner to admit that Jack plots to kill the snitch, who can provide evidence against him. April 20th, 1944. The Shadow Man poses as a film director interested in hiring Jessica for a leading role. He tells her producer the part in it is hers. Afraid that the photographer could jeopardize her chance at stardom, she asks him to meet her so they can sort stuff out. Okay. April 20th, 1944. Posing as a journalist, the Shadow Man suggests Floyd Campbell is a journeyman fired to Floyd's prompter. Wanting to guarantee a shot at the title, Floyd decides to wear brass knuckles under his gloves for his fight with Tony King. April 21st, 1944. Nero misses a call from his lawyer informing him the documents were forged and there's nothing to worry about. Jack misses a call from his partner that he has back with internal affairs and has nothing to worry about. Floyd misses a call from his prompter that the fight was a success and that he has a shot at the title. April 21st, 1944. Jessica misses a call from her producer, who says he didn't have a good feeling about the director and it didn't work out. However, he scored her a lead in a musical he and his partner are financing. April 31st, 1944. Jessica kills the photographer and secures the incriminating photographs. Jack kills the snitch, who could turn him over to international affairs. Floyd kills Tony the King in the boxing match and cash on his winnings. Nero kills his wife in a work accident, cashing in her life insurance policy to square away the debts. April 21st, 1944. Richtofen arrives in Morgue City to secure the Sunken Key. April 22nd, 1944. Richtofen learns the reporter has a Sunken Key and confronts him. The reporter waves Monty's letter at Richtofen and orders him to stay away before attacking him. Richtofen kills the reporter in self-defense. April 25th, 1944. Shadows of Evil. Nero, Jack, Floyd and Jessica are knocked unconscious at the Blake Lake Burlesque Club. At Blake Lake, that's just lays up the town. They wake up in a twisted version of Morgue City, shifted slightly from reality, told they can atone for their sins by the Shadow Man. All four are tricked into performing rituals. Jessica sacrifices her producer, Jake sacrifices his partner, Floyd sacrifices his prompter, and Nero sacrifices his lawyer. Completing the required rituals, the Republicans are given access to Dimension 63. Realizing they've been duped, the four work with the Keepers to defeat the Shadow Man. They trap him in the Sunken Key, but before they can hand it over to the Keepers, Primus Richtofen arrives and steals the key. Richtofen travels to Dimension 2210 to secure an innocent Richtofen soul. He delivers the soul key to the house. From within the Sunken Key, the Shadow Man says, "I'll be seeing you." April 26, 1944. The Republicans destroy Dimension 63. So, Origins, Home of the Dead, and Shadows of Evil are now just gone. They're just no longer cease to exist. They're gone forever, basically. The Sunken Key. The Keepers crafting the Sunken Key, a device that allows them to manipulate the ether. Holding power to alter reality itself, they use it to create a Garfer. Hold on, let me get water my mouth, eh? God. The first transfer is device. The Keepers master the ability to travel between dimensions, the Dark Ether. Some Keepers begin to experiment with the Dark Ether, which corrupts and corrodes their souls. Among them is the Shadow Man. The Ether Pyramid. The corrupted Keepers create the Ether Pyramid, a device capable of absolute power. A schism forms between them and the Keepers untamed by the Dark Ether. The war for Garfer begins. War breaks out between the corrupted and uncorrupted Keepers. The war for Garfer ends. Facing defeat, the corrupted Keepers hide the Ether Pyramid on a moon within one of the newly discovered dimensions. After banishing the corrupted Keepers to the Dark Ether beneath the creation of the remaining Keepers take on the mantle of guardians. Trapped in the Dark Ether, the corrupted Keepers contort and evolve over eons, ultimately becoming the Republicans. They desire, above all else, to return to Garfer. The first arrival. With Dr. Monty's help, the Maxis drone arrives at the house in a Garfer. Despite the absence of his soul, Monty recreates a physical manifestation of his Dimension 63 form. The arrival of Samantha. Monty brings Samantha to the house, reuniting her with the Dimension 63 incarnation of the Father. Samantha's corruption. Knowing Samantha is corrupted by the Dark Ether, Monty takes her away from Maxis and the house. The isolation of Maxis. Alone in the house and missing his daughter, Maxis worries if Richtofen will have the courage to fulfill the vow he made all those years ago. The discovery of the empty earth. Having observed Monty for some time, Maxis uses the teleporter in the basement of the house to study and explore other dimensions. Among them is the empty earth, where an ultimate Maxis had constructed Zero Base, a facility that houses artifacts and replicas collected from a multitude of different timelines. However, his attempts to manipulate the empty earth created a reality too fragile to be sustained. The restoration of innocence. Monty returns Samantha to Maxis, her innocence restored. Monty's plan. Monty explains to Maxis that the paradox wrought by a multiverse must be resolved. A new reality can be created one free of the Republicans, but only if they enlist the aid of souls who had lived through and survived the fracturing. The Chrononium secured. Among the artifacts the Maxis collected in Zero Base is an ancient book known as the Chrononium, a complete chronicle of the entire history and future of reality, protected by various countermeasures. The facility can be accessed by those posing as Soul. Richtofen's journey begins. Maxis tells Richtofen the plan to secure the Chrononium and locate the Summoning Key. Hearing the echoes of his other selves, Richtofen discovers his connection with Samuel Stillinger and decides to use Victus to acquire the Chrononium. The manipulation of Stillinger. Having overseen the construction of a laboratory beneath Alcatraz, Richtofen returns to the house where he begins to communicate with Stillinger. Together they persuade Victus to travel to a variety of locations in order to recover the Chrononium. The Chrononium retrieved. Upon arriving at Zero Base, Victus provides blood samples that allow them to access the MTF and recover the Chrononium. The blood acquired, Richtofen collects the Victus blood sample from undead Richtofen. The arrival of Edward. Richtofen collects Eddie's innocent soul from Dimension 2210 and Monty gives him a physical form in the house. Samantha meets Edward. Eddie and Samantha meet each other for the first time, Samantha writes in her diary that Edward doesn't like to share toys. The happiness of the children. Monty brings Eddie and Samantha more toys. The fragility of memory. Maxis notes that the teleportation and travel between dimensions could have profound impact on the mind. He fears that the confusion caused by the collision of memories, past, present, and future, could lead to the collapse of reality itself. The arrival of the souls. The souls arrive. Maxis tells Samantha and Eddie to put the toys away and to make sure the windows are locked before they come down to the basement. The arrival of Primus. Now soulless, Primus brings the Summoning Key to the house where Maxis unwittingly release the Shadow Man, who in turn frees the Pumpkins from the Dark Ether, unaware that they would be wiped from existence once they have served their purpose. Primus battles alongside Monty in his final battle against the Shadow Man. Revelations. With the Shadow Man and the Pumpkins vanquished, Monty discovers that the Primus has consumed the blood of souls from dimensions that no longer exist. The paradox must be resolved. Fractures. Decepto Fractures. October 13th, 1845. The Giant. As a zombie outbreak occurs, Primus, Dempsey, Tachyon, Nikolai confront Optimus Richtofen moments after he teleports Maxis and Samantha. As they try to reason with him to wake their counterparts, Primus Richtofen arrives through the teleporter and kills his ultimate self, triggering adventures across space and time as Primus fights the undead. Group 935 secure the Dempsey subject and transport him to Dryzen Jacka. Primus pursues them in a German giant. October 29th, 1945. Dr. Groff takes control of Group 935 in Richtofen's absence, not realizing his fate at the hands of Primus. October 31st, 1945. In the wake of a haunted dreams and rumours that Samantha may be roaming Griffin Station, Groff worries. Groff worries the MPD may be corrupting the facility. November 5th, 1945. Dresden Jacka. Recovering the Dempsey's test subject from a rocket bound from the moon, Richtofen secures his soul and reveals to Primus his intention to set things right. Primus destroys Griffin Station and the moon. Prediction Fracture. April 12, 1942. Overrun by the undead, the Rising Sun facility is lost. July 8th, 1942. Division 9 begins construction of the island facility that sits in Hiroshima. October 9th, 1942. With construction complete, Division 9 continued to their projects at the island facility. November 5th, 1942. Takeo is dispatched for the Emperor to oversee the work of Division 9 at the island facility. February 6, 1943. Division 9 expands experimentation to include use of prisoners of war, Division 9 staff, arachnids, and mystical beasts. June 15, 1943. Takeo reports to the Emperor the work being done at the island facility is unacceptable. July 24, 1943. On the orders of the Emperor, Takeo is taken prisoner by Division 9. He is used as a test subject for their organic plant-based experiments. September 15, 1945. Cornelius attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the abandoned Rising Sun facility. October 1st, 1945. Setsubo, Hiroshima. Primus secured Takeo's soul after they help him commit Soboku. Richtofen takes the crew to Dimension 63. to collect their blood for their insurance policy. They return to the island before travelling to their next destination. October 18th, 1945, Peter McCain makes his jump into Shinmuma as a temporal rift opens below him as a result of Primus. Universe fractures, the rift teleports him to Gorod Krovi. So he gets teleported to Gorod Krovi with the ray gun Mark III. Agonia fracture. November 11th, 1942, Groff confirms that Division 9 has completed the resurrection of the Ancient Beast for (the battle on the Eastern Front). Reports suggest that the specimens are still extremely dangerous, but the Germans' stalemate on the Eastern Front, which with the Russians will soon come to an end thanks to their involvement. January 3rd, 1943, the Russians used Stolen Group 935 research to create the Russian Gigant, the Russian Mangala and the ray gun Mark III. Or Gigant. Russian Mangala and the ray gun Mark III. The February 2nd, 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad doesn't end thanks to technological advancements in both sides. World War II continues indefinitely. February 13th, 1943, working with Maxis at the Kino facility, Sophia reveals that she was attacked by Subject 26. February 14th, 1943, having learned Sophia was attacked by Subject 26, Maxis kills her and transfers her brain into machine. The strategic operation planning heuristic intelligence analyzer, Sophia. Okay. July 7th, 1943, Sophia is transferred to Stalingrad to oversee Group 935's operations. September 2nd, 1943, Harvey Yenna reports that dragons have proven beneficial with the war effort at Stalingrad. He confirms that Diglok research continues to explore time displacement and movement across dimensions. November 6, 1943, Sophia confirms the existence of Project Rasputin, the Russian Mangla soldier. January 11th, 1944, Sophia confirms the Russian Gigant robot has set back the German advance. On April 14th, 1945, Sophia declares the Battle of Stalingrad is nearing victory for German forces and that Valkyrie drones have been deployed to locate any resistance trains and attempt to catch her. After the release of large concentrations of element 115 by German forces, the city becomes largely populated by the undead. Nikolai and his comrades continue to fight for what remains of Stalingrad. September 2nd, 1945. World War II still rages on. Stalingrad has turned into a 3-week conflict between the Dragon Machine and the undead. Without any remaining human survivors, Sophia is now trapped in the city. November 6th, 1945. Drifting through space and time in his earthly form, Gersha arrives in the fracture. November 6th, 1945. Gorod Krovi. Primus arrives and frees Sophia and acquires Nikolai's soul. Richthofen teleports the souls of Dempsey, Takeo and Nikolai to Maxis at the house. Monty announces his existence to Primus for the first time. November 6, 1963. Hiding in a closet at the Pentagon, McNamara records a message confirming that John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon and Fidel Castro have died as a result of a zombie outbreak. He dies moments later. Okay, Tank Dempsey, Optimus. Tank Dempsey, American hero. This is character bias now. From film. Tank Dempsey, Optimus. Tank Dempsey, American hero, hand him a loaded weapon, a good woman, and something to shoot at, and he is happy. Enrage him, and he will rip your guts out and use them as a bandola. Dempsey was selected for this mission after he showed his true grit during the Battle of Palula. Remarkable through it may seem his unit was captured during the LA raids before the main invasion, and he spent 2 weeks in a rat-infested bamboo cage submerged in Mario water. Well, that did not stop the tank after he gnawed his way through the cage. His way through the cage. He then gnawed his way through his captors, armed only with a bobby pin and his Medal of Honor, which he keeps secreted in various body cavities. Now you know there is no before the war for Dempsey, and there is no after. There is only the legend of Tank Dempsey, and now he will win the war for the rest of us. Edward Richthofen, Optimus. Beware the dark, a message that was scrawled across walls of every town under Max's control. Starvation may cripple you Dynasty will wreck you, and gunfire may rip the flesh from your bones. Beware the Doctor. This is Dr. Richtofen, known affectionately as the Butcher to his victims, as they scream in agony moments before he snuffs out the light. All through his career, Richtofen has been at the forefront of torture and information extraction research. Richtofen is an incurable psychopath and sees no moral distinction between natural death and murder. The victim is the victim regardless of how their demise manifests itself. Dr. Richtofen has a collection of stuffed animals, most of them posed in position of terror at the instant of their death. Nikolai Belinsky, Optimus. Stalin himself could not stare Nikolai in the eye. No one can. There in his eyes you will see the soul of a man burning with the hatred of all things living. His closet is full of skeletons, many of them with the flesh still attached. Early in his career, Nikolai had quickly made up his way up through the party ranks by killing the next man in line, and by marrying politically. Ultimately, his aspirations all came crashing down after his fifth wife mysteriously died while cleaning his axe with her neck. Little did he know that she had been sleeping with a high-ranking party official on the side. This made Nikolai infamous, and his reputation spread quickly through the party. It was not long before Stalin himself had heard about Nikolai. But importantly, he feared Nikolai. As soon as the war started, our hero was dropped on the front lines and forgotten about, but he wallowed in self-pity and vodka for several years. There are many weapons in his arsenal, not least of which is his breath. Takeo Makisaki, Optimus. Enter Takeo Makisaki, for whom life has no meaning if not to perfect your discipline and to reveal the true character. In honour, perhaps, he ponders this and other philosophical questions as his katana slices through the flesh and sinew of his enemy. Our hero was born into wealth. His family's dynasty dates back several centuries, and throughout that time they have been highly decorated samurai and bushido, while Takeo is no expectation to his celebrated bloodline. Even when the family first saw the young life-filled 5-year-old Takeo playing in the street with his katana and slicing the tails of terrified kittens, it was obvious he was destined to bring honour to the Misaki name. Reserved and reflective, the war is a perfect opportunity for Takeo to explore his bloodlust and study the nature of those less honourable than himself. So if you fall victim to swift action and might know that you have helped a man better than you reach enlightenment. And yeah, that was the entire Canorium, well, zombie storyline to date. So yes, this is the entire Canorium made by these guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the entire Canorium. Oh, the Canorium and the zombie storyline, we'll say it, right? I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, after this live stream, the link will be in the description down below. So go check this place out. But yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Yeah. There are a lot of things in this that it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in at once. During different stages, because for me there, I just took all this in, and my mind's like, what the fuck? But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. My name is Pastor Nate, and I'll see you guys soon.